Consider this. You've had some success with your first product. Now you have a new product idea. Here's something to think about. How can I make sure that my new product doesn't dilute my existing brand? I say, why learn the hardest way when you can learn the smartest way from the people who went before you? Today, we're answering the question on every entrepreneur's mind, how to avoid spreading your brand too thin. As a brander and namer, I find that most entrepreneurs who I've helped brand keep coming back for more branding with me. With good reason. I make them money and I make them happy. And who doesn't want to be happy, right? And because studies show that brand extensions are up to 5 times more successful than new launches, brand extensions can maximize shelf space and mind space and increase brand visibility, so they certainly can be good for your business. Brand extensions are great, but you do run the risk of spreading your brand too thin. So what does that mean? That's exactly what we're going to get into in this episode, and you're going to want to stay with me till the end to know what works and what really doesn't, because you're going to want to avoid the brand extension blunders I'm going to share with you, made by Colgate, Harley Davidson, Evian, even Virgin, the king of brand extensions. They've all made some colossal blunders, which can save you time, money, and heartache. Why learn the hardest way? Well, I say, learn the smartest way from the people who went before you. And if you're looking for more high-end, big branding moves, check out the link in the description below so you can brand like the Fortune 100 starting right now. Brand extensions through new products make financial sense. People know your brand, they've used your products, and they've liked it. So that trust factor is already there. When you launch another product under the same brand banner, basically, you're capitalizing on a successful product. You use all the same, like name, color scheme, tagline, logo on the new product, and it all falls into place, just like it did on the first one, right? Well, yes and no. So let's first look at why brand extensions work. You're building on the existing reputation, authority, trustworthiness of your brand, so that works. You're giving them more of what they already liked, so that works. And if you've ever been to the National in New York, you know this name, Jeffrey Zacharian, restaurateur. He says, determine who you are and what your brand is and what you're not. The rest of it is just a lot of noise. Love that. So many new entrepreneurs chase every new trend rather than making a choice on what their brand is and what they are not. And not chasing everything else. Just perfect yourself. As a brand, that is a winning strategy. Here's where we can get into hot water territory when brand extensions become brand dilutions. Brand dilution happens when a brand is losing its brand associations with the market segment, the product area, the quality, the price, or the cachet. Basically, a brand has to be able to stretch, but without spreading itself too thin, without bending the brand promise out of shape. Okay, so let's get to some of the blunders of the big brands and what they've done so that you can learn faster and come out of nowhere. So here's a brand extension failure that was so incongruous, so bizarre, that the brander in me went like, what were you thinking, Harley Davidson? Yes, Harley Davidson launched, wait for it, a cake decorating kit. The brand that appeals to the rebel in us, who wants to hit the open road, who refuses to be shackled by traditional roles, who wants the roar of the engine and the sight of the normal in their rear view, suddenly decided to sell us rebels a cake decorating kit. Why? Beats me. Well, they had this convoluted logic that kids would use the Harley Davidson cake decor kit to create sugar and cream bikes or something. I don't know. They would help build bonds with the brands, with kids supposedly, and maybe they'd grow up and buy a motorcycle. I'm trying to decipher it as much as anybody else. I really wonder what that brainstorming session sounded like. To be a fly on that wall would have been hilarious. Maybe they thought that the leap away from their core values of their devoted brand loyalists, their rebels, would work in the same way that Michelin, a tire company, launching a restaurant rating system worked so well and still does. I don't know. Suffice it to say that the Michelin example is very much its own unique culture, brand, and their rating system for places to stop and eat along your travels was far less off-brand than Harley's move for their customers to accept it. And the quality of their rating system is held in the highest regard pretty much universally. Ever hear this one by Steve Martin? Be so good they can't ignore you? Here's how Michelin was. Not only did the rating system evolve to be impeccable, but from the very beginning, because a small part of the guide was tire maintenance and the majority of it was food related, many unsuspecting readers did not know the true intention behind the guide and subconsciously visited numerous Michelin tire shops while they were traveling on the road. But don't think that Harley's cake decorating kit is a one-off. Consider this. History is littered with stories of brand extensions that didn't work. Colgate launched a line of frozen dinners. Their logic was that people would eat their dinners and then brush up using their toothpaste. Food, teeth, get it? Nope. A lot of people said nope. In India, Dettol launched the Dettol toothpaste. People just felt weird brushing their teeth with something they associated with an antibacterial cleaning liquid. So that didn't work either. Ever had a McDonald's pizza? Me neither. But they had launched pizzas at some point. It should have made sense because it's yet another convenient and popular fast food, but it didn't because the association between McDonald's and burgers and fries type of meal was so strong. People were just not able to relate the brand with pizza, and it didn't work. So then back in the 1990s, Richard Branson decided his Virgin business empire needed to go into one truly recession-proof business. Well, maybe not anymore, but it was at the time, the recession-proof business of weddings. Virgin had arguably one of the most diverse product stables in the world, so Virgin Brides should have worked, right? It didn't. They opened 2 Virgin Bride stores in London, but they had to be shut down because of lack of profit. Donald Trump did Trump Steaks, Cosmopolitan did yogurt, EasyJet did Easy Cinema, and at some point, Evian launched water-filled bras. What? The biggest and best brands have made the mistake of extending their brands far too thin. So, should your brand opt for a brand extension? Yes, you should, so long as the new product launch is a natural progression of your business, as long as it reflects the values of your brand. If your brand is seen as doing something consistently and repeatedly, your brand can endure, and the brand extension can work. Lucas Watson of Intuit said, "There are no boring brands. There are only tired brand managers." That's some truth right there. So here's what my decades in branding has taught me. When clients approach me for a brand extension, I ask them these 2 questions. Number 1, have your clients or your customers asked you for it, demanded it, suggested it repeatedly? That's a really big one. Everybody that I've helped brand, well, they keep coming back to me for more. Sometimes a week later, a year later, I often end up branding all of their business ventures and many of their silent investments too. And they always kid, I'm the silent investor in this thing, but I made it mandatory that they hire you to name them and do all of their branding. Right now, as I speak, I'm doing my 5th branding this year for one happy client. And I've helped 50 of their own clients name their products. It's because their people say, well, I need this too. Or what else can I do with you? Or do you need to create this? Can you create this for us? It's because their people are asking for it, demanding it, suggesting it. They're saying, well, I need this too. Or what else can I do with you? Or I need you to create this thing for us too, like you did for them. They asked me, they demanded it from me or from another client of mine, and they have to have it. They suggested over and over again. You get the theme here? So much so that I created a home study course for their people, which of course I'll give you access to now that I have mentioned it. I'll put a special link in the description in the link tree. And so for me personally, when I started naming, this seemed to set off a chain of events. Way back in the day, when I created the perfect name for them, my clients would ask, could you do the taglines? So I would. And then they said, could you do the logos? So then I started creating logos. And that's what I figured out next. Then they wanted funnels, and then campaigns, and books, and keynote speeches, and webinars, and sales pages. And this is how you extend your brand by demand. This is how you don't stretch your brand too thin. So ask yourself, have your people asked you for more in any way? It could have been very direct. They may ask you, can you do this for me? They could ask, what else can I do with you? They could tell you, I'm having trouble with this thing. Do you know anybody who does that? And you say, yeah, I do that. It's like when a homeowner asks their HVAC company, do you do fitted kitchens as well? For that homeowner, it's a big relief if the answer is, yeah, we do that. They know this brand does a good job, and it saves them the hassle of having to find someone else who's dependable and who's good. The trust is already there. The second question I ask is this: has the market or the culture asked you for it? This is a very straightforward way that your clients ask you for new things. And there's also an indirect way for you to hear it through the market or the cultural shift. It could be from news, it could be from social media, it could be from the way markets are changing, throwing up new challenges for your ideal individuals. It could be just the way that technology is shifting for everyone. It's having your ear to the ground. You, the entrepreneurs, are the real experts in human happiness and frustration. So they could literally be asking you for something new, something different, something advanced. And it could also be this, like some problem that you would help them solve, a problem that they've had, but they can't even articulate it yet. But you know how you sometimes find cool, nifty products on Amazon that you didn't even know you wanted? There's a solution before you even knew it was a problem. For instance, before email happened, letters like snail mail would take days, even weeks to travel. Business processes, communications, everything had to be designed around that fact. But then we invented the fax. And even better, then Hotmail gave us all that we didn't even know we needed. And all of that instant gratification. And everything changed. And the way we worked changed. And the way we kept in touch with loved ones changed. And the way we did business changed. Dollar Shave Club is, again, something that guys didn't really know they needed, but when they were presented with the idea of home-delivered shaving and grooming products monthly, guys loved it. Think about Uber and the problem they solved. We didn't necessarily know we had a problem because we already had taxi cabs that we could just hail. But Uber created this whole new feeling of freedom, convenience, and safety. Anytime, anywhere. It was a creative, beautifully simple solution. And then they launched into Uber Eats and also really reworked because food deliveries were a natural extension of the cab aggregator business. Brand extensions, when done right, creative solutions to the problems or challenges your current brand loyalists have, it's a home run. It's the rating system to know where the best restaurants are while out on a Sunday drive, or your trusty Michelin tires versus grabbing your cake decorating kit at Harley Davidson showroom. Think about how Weight Watchers listen to the culture. They got in trouble at first because they didn't listen, and then they did. They cleverly segued into healthy meals, fitness coaching, individualized support, more than just weight loss and diets. It was also a clever rebrand from Weight Watchers to wellness that works. As I explained in another episode, I'll add right here, just so you can check that out. Going farther back in time, the Wright brothers, everybody wanted travel. More particularly, everybody always dreamed of flying, and they responded to that need to see foreign lands. Yes, there were big steamer ships, but what about flying to where we want to go? It was aspirational. It was soaring into the future, literally. SpaceX is an extension of that. Everybody wanted to go up to space, to go to the moon. We're always trying to go places. It's a human desire. So IKEA, when they forayed into prefabricated homes, this was a natural extension of their home furnishings and small space solutions. Later, IKEA's Feeding the Future program that donated $1 for every healthy kids meal purchased in the IKEA restaurants is also an example of a successful, timely brand extension. So, what is it you have in mind? And is your brand ready for a brand extension? Think of your brand as a story. Each page is another touch point for your customers. Each chapter is another product. If you're reading a story and the page feels like it was written by a different author or for a different audience, you close the book. If the chapter feels like a whole different genre and just completely makes you feel like you've wasted your time in all the previous chapters, you probably tell your friends, hey, their story sucks, skip it. You need a natural progression, an extension that emerges as a logical extension or an adjunct to your original or existing products. You need to ask those important questions. Do your people want it? Or does society or culture demand it? You don't necessarily have to respond to some frustration from not being able to do something as efficiently. It may also be a new and better way to do things. You, as an entrepreneur, are an expert in human happiness. If you have an idea that makes them go, oh, I love this, why did no one think to do this before? Then you need to do it. Do you have a brand extension idea that you would like to see taken forward? Let me know in the comments and click in the link in my description for a deeper insight into what you can do to get it right. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of my other videos as well. I release new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Use them as your own personal masterclass in branding and becoming an inspiration to millions. And as always, I love to end with our mantra, to love what you do and love how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.